Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am going to talk about Alastair Reynolds today and all the books that I own by him, give you a little introduction. At the moment, though, I'm loving this picture I'm in with books to either side of me and all my stuff in the background there. And I have achieved actual good lighting for probably the first time in all these videos. And maybe one day I'll even update this camera, which is actually my phone. So what we have here, Alastair Reynolds, he was actually a PhD and worked for the European Space Agency, but eventually gave it up to be a full-time writer. He's got quite more books than I've got sitting here, as far as I've gotten. Primarily, he's known for what's called Revelation Space, and it's considered space opera, but even he himself said that he likes to try to keep this a little closer to real world physics, but at the same time, if he needs to chuck some of it out the window for the story, he'll do that, and he has done that. One of the main considerations is that even though humanity has gotten out into the galaxy, it does so at just below the speed of light in these particular type of ships called light huggers, and they're like just below the speed of light. So they can get out there, but it still takes years to get anywhere, and so you get isolated pockets of civilizations. And in the books I'm reading now, well, let me say first, some of the other things that inhabit the books are a little bit of transhumanism. You have these beings called conjoiners, which upgrade their minds with computer technology and form local group minds with each other. You have what they call uplifted pig people. They're actually formerly pigs, and they get give intelligence, and they walk around like people. A little bit shunned from time to time, but one of these is one of the main characters that you'll see pop up in the series. So in what I'm reading right now, it's part of these three books right here: Aurora Rising, Elysium Fire, and Machine Vendetta. This is the current one. This is the one I am reading right now. It's a new book out on the shelves. This is led by a inspector. Well, he's called a prefect, and he is part of a police organization called the Panoply. And Prefect Dreyfus, one of his other prefects, has been murdered, and he goes to investigate. What she was investigating when she got killed was some happenings, follow-ups to some happenings in the previous books, where there were a couple of AIs at war with each other. And then on top of that, there was another group trying to take over where the story takes place. This is around another star. It's called the Glitter Band. The planet is called Yellowstone, and it's thousands of orbital space colonies that forming the civilization. At the heart of it is a voting system that the prefects have to obey. They're the sort of, I don't want to call it the governing body, but they are limited in their police power by the vote of the populace. The populace in each one of their own space colonies, they have their own local police, and they handle their own local crimes and things like that. But when things start to affect the rest of the civilization, that's when the prefects come along. And every one of these colonies has its own, like this computer core that receives information from implants that the populace has. And so, for example, the prefects can show up with a particular type of spaceship, maybe a suit to protect them a bit, and the only weapon they usually carry is this thing called a whip hound. And this is an artificially intelligent snake. It can act as an assistant robot. It can form a weapon, usually of the cutting variety, and it can protect themselves and the prefect. But if a larger warship is needed, they send out the information and the request as to why, and the populace will vote on this, and then they can bring in heavier weaponry, that kind of thing. So they are limited by the populace. It's almost a pure democracy. It was called an anarchy and a democracy, is but like a loose democracy kind of. Demarchy, I believe, was the term used for it. So the plot lines get laid down here really well. I don't normally read mysteries unless there just happen to be one in the science fiction or fantasy that I am reading. But in the first, I believe it's 140 pages here, you get the murder, you get players, the artificial intelligences show up again. One of them shows up in a virtual reality, the other one shows up. Prefect Dreyfus's wife her mind is damaged, but with the implants that she has, one of the AIs decides to pay a visit and takes over her body and has a little conversation with him. The murder victim, who is one of the prefects, she has a daughter, and so Dreyfus decides to meet her and potentially bring her into the panoply. But you don't know what her motivations are either. She seems to have knowledge that she's not sharing. In one little, it's a little minor spoiler here I'm going to give you. One of the people who tried to take over the civilization previously he's captured, basically a prisoner. He remakes, like if the spacesuits need repair, he takes care of that. And when Dreyfus goes to meet this man and he says, yeah, she tried to get a message out, and he's like confused and says, how? The very next page, he's talking to the murder victim's daughter and has the exact exchange. And so it makes me believe there's a connection between the two, and that this old underground movement still active and working, and that's what the murder victim may have been searching for. And so it just lays down these little webs of intrigue, and about halfway through, maybe the people they're investigating, or the beings they're investigating, are starting to fight back a little bit, and that's where we sit right now. I'm only halfway done with the book. So this is not his only universe that he has made, though. I don't think we can get all these in my little picture here. These are a lot of standalones, the bottom three anyway here. These ones, though, we have here. I don't think I have those in the right order. Revenger. I dropped a book. Shadow Captain and Bone Silence. These form a trilogy. This is a genre bender. What we have here is a civilization here that has been remade some 13 times over. It's millions of years in the future. And the world has been chopped up into bits and turned into space colonies, totaling something like 50 million of them. And most people live in like 20,000 of them or so. And so the rest are baubles that you have to break into or wait to break into. Someone can read them and see if they're going to open soon. And you got to get in there, get whatever treasure and information is in there, and get out before it seals you in forever. The ships run on sails in space because sunlight does have a pressure and you can push a sail with it. So the acceleration is really slow. It takes a while to get anywhere. Chase scenes take a while. They do, however, the ships are made out of wood. It's a genre bender. It reads like something Victorian, but it's out in space. However, they do have like rail weapons that can really hurl massive damage at each other. They have passive sensors to try to detect each other. This is piracy in space, and it's very good. And out of all these, they actually might be my favorite. This came out, was it last year? Let's have a little look here. This came out in 2022. Eversion. Now, it's hard to talk about this book without giving anything away at all. In the 1800s, a sailing ship crashes off the coast of Norway. In the 1900s, a Zeppelin explores an icy canyon in the Antarctic. In the far future, a spaceship sets out for an alien artifact. Each excursion goes horribly wrong, and on every journey, Dr. Silas Coade is the physician, but only Silas seems to realize that these events keep repeating themselves. It's up to him to figure out how and why, and how to stop it all from happening again. This is nothing is as it seems. Wonderful writing by Alastair Reynolds. And that's really all I wanted to get to on these. The sun's getting in my face. So I don't think I'll do this again, but I have a... Where'd it go? After I finish this, a little genre switch, I'm going to do Bloodstones. This author had a book published when she was just 14 years old, and this is her latest, and I'm going to give that a shot afterwards. I haven't done a full spoiler book review. I don't know that I will. We will see what happens and how far this goes. I'm still new at this and giving it my best shot. We'll see how it goes later. Thank you for your time. I hope you liked this. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you again.